Welcome to the Diploma in Nursing Administration session on BNS 012 on concepts related to supervision in hospital. Some of you must have attended the session which I have taken just now for the post-basic BSc nursing students also, and I will share the same session with you. Before I go to the supervision as a concept, all of you have studied about the concepts of management and elements of management. Elements of management were planning, organizing, staffing, directing, coordinating. And supervising, supervision is a function of directing. Because already your plan is in place, you have organized all the things, staff, resources, but now you have to execute it. You have to make a plan. See that you have already make a plan, but you have to now execute the plan and see that you are able to achieve the objectives. When plan is being made and plan is being executed, who will look after this work? It's obviously a supervisor. So supervision means the overseeing, seeing how people are doing the work, helping them, guiding them, motivating them, communicating with them, inspiring them, leading them. It's very important to understand supervision is not finding faults. Supervision is not done in hurry. Supervision is actually guiding and leading the staff. Supervision is a planned activity. This supervision is not only finding the faults, it's motivating people, encouraging the staff. If there is any fault, finding a solution to take an action. So, supervision means above I see. That means there is someone above you who is observing the staff, how they are working, how you are working. So supervision has various components in it. We will study those. Supervision is a function which is being carried out by a supervisor as a job description, as a duty to do it in the organization. Your senior nursing officer, your ANS and DNS are the supervisors who have to supervise the activities of the nursing service department. Your immediate supervisor is senior nursing officer or your ward in charge. Next level supervisor is your ANS and DNS who will supervise the work of ANS. So at every level there are subordinates and the supervisors are there. Overall supervision in the hospital is being done by your DMS or the additional MS of all the departments. Supervision means maintaining day-to-day contacts. Your immediate supervisor will have day-to-day contact with all the staff who are working under them. But your ANS will not have day-to-day contact immediately. They will have day-to-day contact with their senior nursing officers because they will be immediately observing, supervising their work. Then there are supervisor are a link between workers and the management. That means your senior nursing officer is a link between you and your ANS. And your ANS is a link between your senior nursing officer and DNS or the nursing superintendent. Because unless there is a link, it is not possible for any nursing officer or administrator to supervise the immediate day-to-day work of all the employees under them. Then supervisors ensure performance of the work. That means they see that all the staff in the department perform their function, perform their work, carry out their job description, job responsibilities, so that objectives of that unit, of that ward are being fulfilled. In that way, the objectives of the organizations are being fulfilled. Then supervisor build efficient team of workers. In the hospital, all of us know that we have to work as a team. The nursing service department has a team of nurses who work for the nursing care services in all the 3 shifts. They coordinate with the other professionals and the other department to provide the services. It is the supervisor who is a link between all the nurses and the different departments. Unless you work as a team, you will not be able to provide the quality patient care. Then supervisor build up the morale of the employees. That means they motivate them to work. Unless your employees are motivated, unless they have interest in their work, unless they are being recognized, they have been given incentive, their strengths are being appreciated. If they do something good, appreciate them in front of others. Appreciate immediately. Their moral will be high. And seeing if someone is appreciated, others will also be motivated. And give feedback to the workers. It's very important for the supervisor. If they do good, then also give feedback. If sometimes they are not able to perform, then also give their feedback. If they need training, if there are gaps, please give them the feedback. Don't find faults in them always. If there is something wrong, try to understand why this gap is there. What is the reason? What they need in future? Then maintain group unity and harmony among the workers. It's very important to have a we feeling in the team. A supervisor will communicate all the rules, regulation, policies, plan, methods, new decisions to their employees. So your communication has to be two-way, not one way. Not only communicating them policies and the plans, but also if employees have any concern, communicate them upward so that their grievances, their issues are being transmitted to the higher authorities also. So in this way, your supervisor play very important role in an organization. As you know, you must have seen your supervisors. Why they do supervision? First of all, it is their job responsibility. Secondly, they have to see that institutional objectives are being fulfilled. What is the objective of a nursing service department? Nursing service department objective is to provide quality, efficient, cost-effective care to the patients so that patient and family are satisfied and get a good quality care. If your quality is good, you will have a good reputation of your hospital. To develop the staff and increase their efficiency, if suppose in supervision you found your staff is not performing well, you have to find out the gaps. See that why these gaps are there. If they need training, on-the-job training, skill training, knowledge training, or need some orientation to increase their efficiency, do that. Don't find faults. Interpret the policies to achieve the objectives. Whatever policies are being transmitted to you from your higher authorities, please communicate to all the employees in a simple terms what you want them to understand so that they are able to follow all the policy, plans, procedures, methods, and communication can be written, verbal, and some orders has to be taken out, some corrigendum has to be taken out, some notification has to be taken out. It should be in a simple terms, words, and it should be timely. It should not be done on the last day. They should be also given time to follow all the instructions. Then to get the work done as a team, already I have explained, the culture of an organization should be like that every employee work as a team. They should think that they are working for nursing service department. If they work for the nursing service department, they will think they are working even for themselves. to solve the problems and the issues, not only problems of the staff but also the problem of the patients, problem of the administration. The supervisor has to be very creative, very observant, critically analyze the situation and take decisions immediately within the framework of rules and regulation of the institution, and monitor and evaluate the services in a sense that it is an ongoing continuous monitoring and evaluation, learning lessons to improve the services and the staff efficiency in the long run. The supervision can be direct and indirect. Direct is immediately done by your senior nursing officer. They will use your various tools like observation, day-to-day activities. They will use some checklist, or they will use some rating scale, or they will maintain the anecdotal records. And indirect supervision is by your ANS, who will depend upon the records or the supervisory notes maintained by your senior nursing officer. She will have a feedback from the patients and the co-workers also. Then she will analyze what is the output of an employee and what is the future needs of an employee to improve the work of that units under her. There are certain supervisory styles. I think all of you know that there is democratic, bureaucratic, autocratic and laissez-faire. These are the four, but no one style is enough. It is a mix of styles which is used by the supervisor according to the situation. That's why nowadays it is known as situational supervision, because every situation is different. Every situation needs a different type of supervision. Like in the autocratic leadership, if there is a disaster, there is an emergency, no supervisor can afford to invite a group and have discussions to take decision. A supervisor has to take all the decision and everyone has to follow. There the supervisor will say, whatever I am deciding, it has to be followed. So autocratic is all the decisions are taken by the leader, but sometimes this style is not good in day-to-day activities. In day-to-day activities, mostly people think that democratic styles or a mix of democratic and laissez-faire and autocratic is good. Again, it depends upon the efficiency of the workers, the experience of the workers, and how much freedom is given to your employees, and what is the supervisor's thinking about their employees. Then democratic is participatory, where the employee and the supervisor sit together, make a plan for supervision, set objectives, make plans, and if there are any gaps, they again discuss and find out a solution. The employees equally participate and they know what will be going on and how they can improve their efficiency and what things they have done good. Then there is bureaucratic. Bureaucratic is all dependent on rule and regulation. Whatever rule and regulation says, they has to be followed. There is no scope of going out of rules and regulation. There is a line of authority, line of hierarchy, command is there from the top. Whatever supervisors say is right. Supervisor will stick to all the rules and regulation. They will not bypass any rule and regulation while doing a supervision. Then laissez-faire means the supervisor is so confident. If there is some staff working since last 25 years in operation theatre, the supervisor thinks she is experienced, she is dependable, she can efficiently work. If she has got the feedback from all the seniors, team, doctors that she is the best nurse, we do not need anyone else. The supervisor is confident. Yes, she can take care of all the day-to-day activities. But yes, if she has any problem, I am there to help. So that is laissez-faire style of supervision. But it is very important to see that your supervisor also have certain characteristics and qualities. Do you remember your supervisors? Try to list down some of the qualities of your supervisor, and suppose tomorrow you want to become a supervisor, what qualities you would like to have in yourself as a supervisor, because tomorrow you will also become a nurse administrator. So identify your own qualities, identify your weaknesses, and try to strengthen your qualities. Some of the qualities are good communication skills. Unless you have a good communication skills, not only verbal skills but writing skills, your body language, verbal and non-verbal, that is very important. Interpersonal skills, how you maintain good interpersonal relationship in the nursing department, with your colleagues, with your co-workers, with your co-professionals, with various departments, with your patients. So that is important. Have a empathetic and compassionate attitudes, not only with your patients but also with your staff. Understand them. Try to understand their issues, their problems, their situation. Try to identify who is a person having a genuine problem and who is trying to take advantage of you. Ability to delegate. If some work you can delegate, see the competencies of your staff and delegate the work accordingly. Then flexibility and giving to the subordinates. Some of the things, if they are working since 15 to 20 years in the ward, give them flexibility to do the work. Give them flexibility to take decisions for day-to-day work. Fix goals for them and see that they are able to fulfill within the time. Confident and positive attitude. As a supervisor, one has to update their knowledge and skills so that you are confident that you also know tomorrow you can, when you go for supervision, you can guide your staff for various procedures, use of equipment. So updating your skill and knowledge is very important. Unless you update your skill and knowledge, you cannot be confident. You should know what are the changing policies of your hospital, what the new things have come, new technology have come. Update yourself. Have positive attitude towards yourself, towards others, so that when you speak to your subordinate, you are open mind. You are not closed mind. Don't believe in grapevine what others are telling you about your employee. Observe yourself. Okay. Then good management skills. That is very important. Then good critical thinking and analytical and problem solving things. If you have to solve problems, you should have a good analytical thing. Analyze the situation. Critically analyze the situation. Take immediate decisions. Solve the problems. Be creative and innovative. Same problem, you cannot solve the problem, same type of problem with the same solution. Maybe the problem is same, but you have to find a new creative idea to solve the problem. The time management and the observation skills. You should be a keen observer, good listener. Manage your time for all the activities. And even yourself, you should have the willingness to learn. You have to be a continuous learner because you are dealing with human beings. You are dealing with stressful situations. So stress management of yourself, stress management of your staff. Then accept others what they are, because every individual is different. Accept yourself, accept your strengths and weaknesses. Try to remove your weaknesses. These are some of the qualities of a supervisor. Then what are the principles? There are certain things you have to keep in mind when you go for supervision. You cannot just get up and say, I will do supervision, or any supervisor should not. They have to plan supervision. Justify the need of supervision. Why you want to do supervision? Whom you want to take with you? Why you want to do supervision of particular ward or unit? Set objectives. Make a schedule, make a plan of visit. Sometimes you go unannounced. Sometimes you can inform them you are coming for supervision so that they are also ready. Set a time frame. Suppose you are a ANS or a senior nursing officer. Under all your, you have so many staff under you. So how you will supervise? Make a plan. As a ANS, make a plan. How you will supervise all the ward sisters, all the units under you. So you have to make a time schedule. Then set objective. Set style of supervision. As I told you, mix some of the styles and do a supervision. One style is not perfect. Listen to your subordinates. Listen to your problems. Try to understand them. Try to analyze. Then give a solution. Don't take any decision in a hurry. And don't argue with your staff. Just write down what issues they have. You tell them, we will get back. We will follow up with you. What all issues you have. We will find a solution for you. And don't believe in what others are saying. Counter check the situations. Then you take decisions. There are various tools of doing a supervision. You can do an individual meeting if you think if there is some personal problem or some issues are very critical. If there are some common issues you have found, do a group meeting. Use observation checklist. Use work list. Use job description to do a supervision. Use rating scales. Use the performance appraisal forms. Make anecdotal records. And any other form which is available as per your institution. Then there are steps of supervision. Provide employees with all the resources they need for the job. Don't tell them you do a job, I cannot provide anything. You have to provide whatever is available in the working condition. Provide basic training if they are not being trained. Assess what skills they have, what knowledge they have. Give training so that their knowledge and skills are updated. Help them to set day-to-day goals so that they are able to achieve their objectives and objectives of your ward or the unit. You become a resource to them so that whenever they have any problem, they need some help, they need some resources, they can come to you and discuss their issues. Then you start doing your supervision. Then you find out the gaps. Tell them these are the gaps. Again, you need a training or you have to improve yourself and your efficiency has to be increased. Then employee will also accept because everything is provided to them. That means they have to do something for themselves. Then what are the stages of supervision? That is preparation for supervision. Go through all the documents whichever are available, old report, job description and the various other guidelines of SOPs. Then identify the priority areas and the staff first whom you want to supervise. Review the objectives of the hospital, objectives of the unit, objective of the nursing department. Make your supervisory plan, time schedule for the supervision, discuss with your seniors, take all official approvals if required, communicate to your seniors and to your subordinates if required, give the sometimes if you want to inform them, give your time schedule to them at what time you will be coming or to your immediate supervisor. Then the day you go for supervision, again review it once. Maybe some situation have changed. You can review the supervisory plan. So establish some of the objectives. See that you can fulfill your objectives when you go for supervision. You have enough time. You plan in a way there is no meeting. You don't have to leave your supervision in between except in emergency. Sometimes there are meetings. Then you review when you go for the supervision. Observe the employees working there. Ask the feedback from the patients, families, co-workers, co-professionals. But you have to see someone is not biased against that employee. Do observation yourself. Counter check it with various other records. You can interview even the employee. Ask them what they feel. When you come back, you finalize your records. Find out the gaps, solutions, then you discuss with your seniors, discuss with all the stakeholders, and after taking an action, again follow up and see if some changes have come. There is a new concept of supportive supervision, that is an approach of supervision that emphasizes on mentoring. You are mentoring someone, joint problem solving, Jointly problems are being solved. Two-way communication is there from the employee to the supervisor and supervisor to the employee. Resolution of problems or the solutions are found out in a way that the one is able to solve the issues. Optimize allocation of resources. Reallocation of resources is done as per the need. Then promote high standards of teamwork to encourage to achieve the objectives. So, and there are certain defined steps for doing a supportive supervision. Again, one has to take approvals, whatever is required, follow the SOPs of your institution, set the objectives which can be achieved, make your supervision plan, supervision time schedule which has to be communicated accordingly to the supervisors and to the subordinate. Then preparation of supervisor is also very important. She should be trained to do a supervision and should have all the resources to do the supervision and follow all the steps and the principles of supervision. Train the staffs who will be supervised, how they have to do work when supervisor comes, how they have to behave with the supervisor. Don't just start telling them their problems. Everyone has problems. Even your supervisor have problems. But try to see whatever you speak rationally. If possible, give even your solutions to them. Then after preparing a supervisor and the staff, implement your supervisory plan what you have made. Then when you go, maintain all the records, give feedback to your supervisors and to subordinates, and facilitate if there is need for the training, to arrange the trainings, arrange a group counseling, individual counseling, whatever solution is there, try to solve their problems, grievances of the employee. And if there is a need to appreciate someone, if you found someone has done extraordinary work, appreciate immediately and appreciate them in a group meeting also, so that they feel motivated and others also feel motivated. Then compile the report, give to your immediate supervisor, head of the nursing department. Through them it will go to the head of the hospital, and with them not only find the gaps but also give the immediate solutions also and your follow-up plan. Then once you have implemented your supervisory plan, you have to do a follow-up also. If there is any improvement, do I also as a supervisor need any improvement or further training for the supervision, or my employees need further training? You can take the help of others in the hospital, if not only nursing department, even your colleagues and co-professionals in the hospital. So supervision is one of the method which will help you to solve many problems. But there are some supervisors who just go and just visit the ward and come back, and they rely on others' observation. Don't do that. You cannot rely on others for the good supervision. You have to visit yourself. You should have your own schedule, own plan of supervision. Your supervision has to be very effective. It has to be supportive. If there are students in the ward who has come from college and school of nursing, supervise them. See that they learn it. Their rotation plan which is being submitted by their college and school of nursing is being implemented actually. They are learning there. See that you take the feedback of the students and the teachers also. How effectively students are learning. Give them good learning experiences. Organize their learning experiences in various departments. You can have departmental meetings where you can discuss your good practices. Some supervisors are excellent. The way they supervise even how the diet is being distributed. What type of food is come. It is being hygienically given to the patient or not. If patient is eating that food or not, taking the feedback from the patients. It's not only the supervision of the staff, supervision of the overall functioning of the ward. What are the good ward management policies? Are they being followed? How are the support servicing being provided? Do they give supplies in time? Do they reply? What about the feedback of the patient, feedback of the family, feedback of the other departments? So overall supervision of all the activities. If patient comes, admission day is there, is the ward ready to receive the patients? You have to see. If patient has to be discharged, see that the discharge protocols are being followed by the staff. Patients are being given the instructions how to do the follow-up, how to take medicine. If suppose patient has to go for the operation theatre, do this ward has all the facility? Trolley is functional? Is there any wheelchair? Attendants are there? How the sister is transferring the patient? Are they informing the other department or the ward or the X-ray department or the OT they are sending the patient? Are they sending all the things with the patient? So supervision is about everything, what all activities are to be done. Even as a supervisor should make a supervisory manual, supervisory SOP, so that it is useful for you to follow all the protocols. Even tomorrow when your junior becomes your supervisor, they can also follow the protocols, and these protocols needs to be revised. Every ward should have a supervisory checklist which is being communicated to all the subordinates in the beginning, and if there is any transfer of the staff, in the new ward, these protocols are being given to the staff, that these are the criteria under which your work will be supervised or evaluated. So in this way, a supervision can be a very excellent activity to motivate your staff. Find a fault. No harm, but don't scold your staff for any fault unless someone is doing purposefully. So you have to be so observant that you see that your staff is not doing fault purposefully to irritate the others, or they don't want to work in that department. So you have to identify that type of staff also as a supervisor. So as a supervisor, see that if there are any faults, find out the gaps, discuss that issues with the staff, with the senior nursing officer, with other professional, find out some solutions to them, mentor the staff and give the solutions so that the problem is not repeated again in that same problem, in that same unit or the ward. So in nutshell, today we have discussed about what is the concept of supervision, what is the importance of supervisions, what type of styles of supervisors are there, then what are the steps to be followed, what is the principles of supervision, and what is supportive supervision. I hope all of you will understand what is actually the concept of supervision. It's one of the subcomponent of directing, because in directing you are actually executing the plan to see that objectives of an organization are being fulfilled. Be a good supervisor when you become a good administrator, so that your colleagues your subordinates are happy with you. Thank you for attending the session, and please give your feedback after this session.